Welcome to the Papa Report. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by John Papa. He is president and founder of DPS Advisors, where we are securing tomorrow's future today. John, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Cynthia. Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Good.
And I'm excited about our show today, obviously, because we've talked so much in the past. We've talked on the phone, we've had our interviews, if you will, over the internet,
Yep.
what have you. And today's show is very special because we're going to let the audience get to know you, John, and why you have such a passion for helping others.
Right.
So I should ask you right out of the gate, why is having a plan in place important for retirement? First and foremost, why is that key?
Well, I mean, it's really important to have a plan in place because if you don't have a plan, you don't know if you're going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
And the key to having a good plan will actually allow you to have a stress-free retirement. So you got to have a plan.
Absolutely. And I
Right.
should ask you, obviously, what impacted your life that let you know that you wanted to help people retire with confidence and retire with clarity?
Oh, that's a funny story, Cynthia. So when I was a kid, you know, we grew up in Roseland, New Jersey, and we didn't have a lot of money. We were lower middle class, and money was tight in my family. We had 4 kids, my parents, living in a 1-bathroom house, 3 bedrooms, and my father would give my older brother $1 for lunch during school, and I would have to go meet my brother to get my 50 cents so I could buy lunch. So I learned about money, the value of money early on in my life, and then I just followed my dad's footsteps and got into the business when I graduated college.
I love that. And what is the most rewarding thing about helping others, John? Let me ask you that.
Well, when you sit down with a client and you're able to show them how you can preserve their principal, create income for them, and they can live a stress-free retirement, they call you up or email you or text you saying, thank you so much, I'm so glad I met you, I'm so glad we're working together. And those conversations are so much fun to have. They're so enlightening and uplifting, so it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy what I do.
I love that too. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between having a plan and, let's say, going to the mailbox and grabbing out those statements.
Right.
Because a lot of viewers in the audience today, they might think, you know what,
Right.
I have a plan. It's right here in front of me. I have these numbers. But that's not a plan. Let's talk about that.
No, that's definitely not a plan. In fact, we call it the junk drawer mentality. When you
Okay.
come into our office, every house has a junk drawer. So when you come in, we'll talk to you about what's in your financial junk drawer. What do you guys have? And they'll say, we have all kinds of investments. We have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and we're just all over the map. They have all different kinds of investments and different strategies. So our job is to say, well, wait a minute, what is each one of those investment strategies or investment products doing for you? Is it properly invested? Is it factoring in inflation? Is it factoring in income streams for you? A bunch of different things that it can be doing, but we need to clean out your junk drawer. That's kind of what we do in our first meeting with clients.
Okay, so retirement is not a one-size-fits-all. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely not. No way. Every person's situation is totally different, and you need to treat it that way.
I have to ask you, why do people sometimes hesitate to talk to a financial advisor? What do you think the reason would be, John?
Well, I think it's trust at the beginning, right? Regardless of how they got into your office, whether it was through a seminar, through a referral, or through any other marketing means, they need to trust you. And at our office, what we do is when you come in that first meeting, don't bring any statements. Don't bring anything. You're going to come on in. Susie's going to make you a cup of coffee or have a Diet Coke, and we're going to just talk about anything you want to talk about. What's affecting your lifestyle, your life in finance, okay? And nice, comfortable, easy conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, John, I should ask you, obviously, what are some common things that you're hearing right now? What are people really afraid of, if you will?
Well, it's obvious now what's going on in our country. Inflation is taking a huge bite out of the budgets of many of the people that we see in our office. Taxes, with what our government's spending, the taxes situation is going to get worse. And so I think those are the 2 main factors when people come into our office.
Okay. And so once you design a plan for someone to help them offset some of the fears that they have, how often is that plan revisited?
Well, we're revisiting multiple times during the year. It depends on what types of investment strategies we're using. If we're using investments in the markets, then we're meeting at least every 3 months in a quarterly report, quarterly strategy. If we're using products that take a year to take a look at, then we'll meet yearly. But at least once a year we're meeting. But if it's investments, we're meeting on a much more regular basis. And we also allow our clients to call us anytime you want. You can come in whenever you feel comfortable. You need some help with anything, you can call our office and come on in, and we'll sit down with you and help you out.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What does it feel like when someone comes into the office for the very first time? What can they expect?
Well, they can expect Susie in our office. She's great. She greets them when they come in. She's so personable. She's outgoing. She's such a great person. And actually, my clients, I think, might like her better than they like me. So she does a really good job with that. And she'll have a cup of coffee ready or a cup of tea, whatever they want. She'll ask that in advance. And they'll just come on and have a conversation. We'll sit in a conference room, like I said. Nope, don't bring any statements. Just come on in. We'll talk about what's going on in your life, and we'll see if we can help.
And how long is the first consultation, John?
We set aside an hour and a half, but we don't really run our practice like a doctor's office. We don't have meetings, 10 meetings a day, every hour on the hour. I book a couple appointments a day, and my clients know, or they can come in and spend as much time as they want. If they go over the hour and a half, we're certainly not kicking them out. We're going to spend as much time as they need to go over what their concerns are.
If we have viewers right now at home watching the show together, having a cup of coffee, if you will, as husband and wife,
right,
how important is it for a couple to come into that first consultation together, in your opinion?
Right, in my opinion, I think it's very important. I think both husband and wife should be in the meetings because they both need to know what's going on with their financial situation. In fact, this is life. Things happen. In fact, I got a call this morning that one of my clients' husbands passed away. Oh. And, she was involved in the meetings, and we have a game plan. And I'm going to meet with them when I get back home, and we're going to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So it's important that both spouses attend these meetings.
I'm glad that you brought that up because obviously in the past it's usually one spouse that handles the finances, right, while the other one takes care of the children or perhaps raises, the home, what have you, cooking, cleaning. So it's interesting to hear you say that it's so important that this be a team effort, especially right, if you lose a spouse. That's
correct. And we almost insist on it, Cynthia. In the beginning, unless there's some crazy circumstance, the first meeting, when you're just coming in to meet and converse a little bit, I might say it's okay to not have the spouse there. But if we continue forward with our meetings and we are going to dig down into your plan that you have set up and look at statements and look at things, we insist on both spouses attending.
When you ask the question to a husband and wife, what is your ideal retirement? Do those answers ever align with each other?
No, they never align. They never align. And sometimes you don't know who to, do I listen to what the spouse, the wife is saying, or do I listen to what the husband's saying? So it's actually a pretty interesting conversation.
I think that would definitely be very interesting. Well, John, I know that there's a very special offer that you're going to present to the viewers at home today. Let's talk a little bit about what that is, and then we can go ahead and open up the phone lines. Right.
So what we're offering is for you to come in and get a junk drawer cleanup of your assets. We want you to come in. Just talk to us about what's going on in your financial life, see if we can fit and if we can clean up or help you in any way with your investments. And that's kind of what our offer is. We want you to call 844-534-4452 and call the office. Susie's there, and she'll make an appointment, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you.
And it's just conversational?
Just conversation.
Perfect. John, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-534-4452. We know that you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. Perhaps you have questions that you haven't been able to ask anyone yet. Well, this is your opportunity to book that consultation with John. And remember, it's complimentary. You have to do one thing. Pick up the phone and call today, 844-534-4452. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, I'm going to talk to John a little bit more in depth about inflation and how that could be impacting retirees overall. Stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to the Papa Report. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by John Papa. He is president and founder of DPS Advisors, where we are securing tomorrow's future today. So, John, an excellent show that we're having today, obviously, talking about a variety of topics, getting to know you, of course, and what it feels like when you're coming into the office for the first time. But I think the one thing that people are talking about a lot right now, and we have agreed upon this, of course, would be inflation. So why is that such an issue right now? What's going on, John?
Well, inflation is running at the highest it's been in 40 years. And for people in retirement or about to retire, it's having a huge effect on their checkbook. Mm-hmm. You know, whether they could buy groceries or gas or whatever, prices are through the roof. You see it when you fill up your gas tank. I filled mine up yesterday. It was almost $100. A few months ago, it was $40 to get a full tank of gas. So it really has an effect on retirees and people who are on a fixed income, maybe Social Security, small pension. It has a huge effect.
Sure. So it ties into the fact that the number one fear that people face going into retirement is that they are going to run out of money.
Right.
And so with inflation increasing, that's going to deplete their assets quicker than anything else, correct?
That is correct, Cynthia. We see in our office, the first thing people say to me is, I don't want to have my kids be dependent on my kids. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure I don't run out of money. I want to make sure I have enough income to live on. I want to be able to do things in retirement that I want to do, what I worked my whole life for. And now that we're seeing expenses are double and triple what they were just a year ago, it's having a huge impact on people's retirement.
Let's talk about how having a well-designed retirement plan will help put up guardrails for inflation. How does that fit into someone's plan? How can you help protect them?
Well, there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can actually use either dividend portfolios, you can use annuity contracts that have income riders on it that can create a third set of guaranteed income besides Social Security and maybe a small pension, so you can build up that person's retirement income on a monthly basis.
Is this something that retirees can do on their own?
Well, they could if they want to, in retirement, learn how to become a financial advisor and become a financial expert, but that's not really what I think people want to do in retirement.
Yeah.
So what you can do is hire a professional that you trust, a fiduciary like myself, who has the client's needs above our own. We have to provide the pros and cons of every strategy out there for you and make sure it's in your best interest. We're bound to do that. And it's much easier to do that for an hour every once in a while when you come in, rather than stopping playing golf and tennis and managing your assets.
Well, John, you mentioned a very important word, fiduciary. So in case someone is in the viewing audience today and they're not sure what that means or why that would be important to them, what does that mean specifically when choosing a financial advisor? Right.
So when you choose a financial advisor, you're using a fiduciary. You're using a person who is trained and licensed to have your needs and wants over their own. They are bound by laws that state that the client's interests are always above theirs. And we have to make sure that the investment plan has your best interest at heart. We have to explain all the pros and cons of that investment strategy so that it is the right investment strategy for you. And that has to happen throughout the whole process that we work together with.
John, I should ask you, how important is it for someone to have a second opinion if they've been working with someone for many years and they're not sure if they're in the proper guidance in the right hands, if you will? How important is it to have a second opinion?
Right, I think it's very important. Now, whether you have seen your advisor recently or you haven't spoken to your advisor in a few years, you should be getting a second opinion on a regular basis. And even if you're working with a fiduciary, you want to make sure that what you're doing is right for your situation. So we recommend you do that on a regular basis.
Okay. Do you often have clients come in that are meeting with you for the very first time that have no idea what they're invested in or why?
Yes. We'll come in, they'll come into our office, Susie will greet them, Debbie's there as well. She helps out with meeting our clients when they first come in. And when they sit down, they're like, this is what I have. Even though we told them don't bring any statements to the first meeting, I have all this stuff. I haven't spoken to my advisor in a really long time. What do we do? What am I doing? And our job is to start right from there and help them out right from the beginning. Let's figure out what you have.
And that is such a red flag, what you just mentioned. I haven't heard from my financial advisor in forever. Or when they do call, there's not a response and what have you. So I have to ask you, if someone hasn't heard from their financial advisor in a year or longer, how concerned should they be?
They shouldn't be with that advisor anymore.
Okay.
They should be leaving. In fact, if you don't have your advisor's cell phone number so you can contact that person directly, I would consider whether I really want to work with that financial advisor. My clients have my cell phone. If they need to get in touch with me, they know how.
I love that. And we should also talk about the fact that your son obviously has watched you for many years help others retire comfortably, retire with confidence, watching you give peace of mind to so many different people that he has now decided to follow in your footsteps. So let's talk about Luke for a little bit.
So exciting. So like I said before, when I started in this business in 1986, my dad was an insurance salesman. So I got into the business selling life insurance in the same company that he was selling it with. And we started our practice together about a year or two after. We branched out on our own and started our practice at Diversified Planning Strategies. And from that point on, for all these years, we worked together and really having separate practices. So we didn't really get together and work on the same clients, except maybe the last 10 years or so. So, you know, it was always a legacy thing where he was so happy that I got into the business and we worked together. And he tried to get some of his other grandkids and they just didn't have any interest. But finally, my son decided, you know, he just graduated from college, that he wants to get into the business. So he's home now studying for the Series 65, and he's, you know, working in our office, learning the different mechanisms and how we meet with clients and what we do with clients. So I'm really excited to bring him in, kind of like what I did with my dad.
Well, and I think it's amazing because you have to be so proud to know that Luke wants to follow in your footsteps. But obviously, he's going to come in and he's a much younger gentleman. So he's going to be able to help those that are younger in life, that are perhaps deciding their 401k, like what do I pick, what goes where. He's going to reach a totally different demographic, if you will. That
is so true, Cynthia. In fact, it's not just dealing with younger people. It's actually, a lot of our clients will ask me, so John, what happens if something happens to you?
Yeah, there you go.
And before I was like, well, you know, the plan is it works by itself. Everything's set up already. But now I'll be able to say, listen, Luke's here. He knows what he's doing. We're training him, and he'll be able to take you forward if something were to happen to me. But I'll be here for a while. So peace of mind the whole way around. Exactly. Exactly. Well, John, I know there's a very special offer that you're going to present to the viewers at home today. Let's talk a little bit about what that is once again before we reopen the phone lines. Right. So again, if you can, call 1-844-534-4452, and you're going to get your complimentary review and analysis of your investments and your retirement plan. Do you have enough income? Do you have inflationary protection in your portfolio? All different kinds of things that will help you lead a stress-free retirement. That's what the goal is at Diversified Planning Strategies Advisors, to help you lead a stress-free retirement. And you cannot put a price tag on a stress-free retirement. It's priceless. No. Thank you, John. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is once again on your screen. That number is 844-534-4452. We know that you have a lot of questions for John about how to plan your perfect retirement. Perhaps you're picking up the phone and calling into a financial advisor for the very first time today. As you can see, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's going to be very
conversational, very comfortable for you, with a nice cup of coffee and perhaps a cookie too. That number again is 844-534-4452. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to talk a little bit more in detail about how to plan for your retirement when we return.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to the Papa Report. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by John Papa. He is founder and president of DPS Advisors, securing tomorrow's future today. John, a wonderful show we're having, talking about such important topics, of course, getting to know you, planning for inflation. We talked about Luke joining the firm. Let's talk a little bit in this segment about if we looked at a retirement plan. And let's pretend it's a pie, because I'm hungry right now.
Right.
All right? Let's look at like pie, so food. If you're like breaking that down into different slices, what does the pie consist of? I know obviously planning for inflation is one.
Right. So when we sit down with a client, we will look at the different pie structures. Where's your income coming from? Is it Social Security income? Do you have a pension? Do you have dividends off of an investment portfolio? Then we'll also talk about estate planning. Do we need to create a legacy for your kids or heirs? Okay, we need to factor in the impact of inflation, like we just talked about in the last segment. Can your income that you're currently living on survive this inflationary period that we're in? Okay, Social Security. We get a lot of questions about when do I turn it on? What do I do? I see all these shows about Social Security planning, so we need to clarify all that. So we put it kind of in a big pie, and we try and touch each slice of the pie, like you said, with our clients when they come in.
Is there one area that people fail to plan for more than anything else in that plan?
No, actually, I don't think there's one specific area. I think it's a combination of everything. And it pretty much is not having the plan.
Yeah.
We see that most, not having a plan. People think just having stocks, bonds, and mutual funds is a plan, and that's not really a plan.
Okay. Tell me what happens, John, when someone leaves your office and you've decided to work together.
Right.
How long does it take you to construct that plan? Are we talking hours, days?
Right.
What can the client expect?
Well, they can expect, number one, as much time as it takes to develop this plan.
Okay.
Because you can't fit everything in an hour.
Yeah.
So we tell our clients, listen, you might be here 2 meetings, 3 meetings. It's going to take as long as it takes, or it's going to be as quick as it takes. It depends on you.
Yeah.
It depends on what your situation is. What do you have in place right now? So we'll decide that. There is no cookie cutter plan that we give. We sit down and take as much time as we need, as many meetings as we have to.
And then when they come back in to sit with you and you're able to show them the plan that your office has created, tell me about what kind of reactions your clients have.
Well, they're surprised that, number one, it could be done.
Yeah.
And because they thought they had a plan and they didn't. And now they have a plan. Now they can focus on golf, tennis, see their grandkids' shows, travel, whatever they wanted to do in retirement.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build that stress-free retirement for them so they can enjoy the things that they wanted to do, not worry about their finances.
And you have a passion for that, because we've talked about in the past that you want people to enjoy and thrive in retirement, not just get by.
not just get by, right? Because who wants to work for 40 years just to get by in retirement? You want to work for 40 years and lead a good life and be able to enjoy the things that you worked for. And then if there is anything left over, pass on down to your kids. I see that a lot of people are concerned about that. They want to pass stuff on down to their children and grandkids.
Legacy planning.
Legacy planning is a big part of our practice as well.
Absolutely, making sure that those loved ones have peace of mind
Correct.
as well. Any really unique and fun bucket list items? Are you hearing any of those? Like, is anyone going on RV trips?
I actually say I have a lot of people saying they want to go to see the Vatican in Rome. They want to go. They want to travel to Europe. They want to travel out of the country.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of years we've kind of been locked down in our country. So
True.
People are trying to get out and explore and enjoy and have fun.
And how amazing is it for you to open up your email inbox and see pictures of your clients on trips?
Oh, it's phenomenal. And then to get the email back, thank God we met you. We'd never be able to do this if we weren't working with you guys. Those are the reasons why we're in business. That's the fun of it.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, John, with people calling in today, who would benefit the most from taking advantage of this complimentary consultation that you've been so kind to offer?
Right. So if you have an investment plan or a retirement account, or if you have some questions about having the right amount of income in your plan, you would benefit from a phone call to us. So I would call 844-534-4452. And we'll give you a complimentary analysis of what's going on in your financial plan.
John, I have to ask you, is it ever too late to start? If anyone's in the audience today and they're thinking, oh, you know what, it's too late for me. I've already made mistakes in the past. I don't know how to correct them. Is it ever really too late?
No, it's definitely not too late because, honestly, in today's world, we are living a lot longer than we used to 20, 30 years ago. The life expectancy tables are getting longer and longer and longer. So planning is becoming more important for retirement.
Absolutely. Well, John, we have about 1 minute and 15 seconds left of the show this week. Any final words of wisdom, guidance, and advice that you would like to give the clients at home?
Sure. What I think you should do is we want to come see you. We want you to come into our office, get a complimentary analysis so that you can lead a stress-free retirement. That's the key in retirement, to be stress-free. So if you're questioning whether you think you are living a stress-free retirement or not, just pick up the call. There's no risk. There's no reasons not to call. So give our office a shout, and we will definitely sit down and see if we can help you out.
Well, John, I can't believe how fast the time goes when we're on air together, because obviously you had so much information to share to the viewers at home, and I can't thank you enough for bringing such peace of mind to the viewers and to people that are blessed enough to become your clients.
Well, thank you, Cynthia.
To the viewers at home, most specifically, we would like to thank you for spending time with us today. That number to call is 844-534-4452. We know you have a lot of questions for John about how to plan your perfect retirement. He has the answers for you. Again, 844-534-4452. Be safe, be happy, be blessed.